Hello, and welcome to another one of these things. I'm by myself this week because producer Phil isn't here, so it's just me and Maggie. And because he's not feeding me the questions, I am delving into my big envelope full of bits of paper with old questions and new questions. So expect lots of rustling going on this week. Be a bit less slick. Sure, no one minds that for 1 week. The black sands of time are just about to speak, and so we're off. Got my cup of tea here, which is got a huge crack in it now. It's got a big crack in the side of it, which means I'm going to have to get a new one. And no one makes everlasting mugs, and nor should they. Otherwise, no one would get brand new mugs as presents for themselves. I'm going to dive straight in with one from Dan Hodgson. Nice quick one. Cheap Trick or Kiss? Cheap Trick. Because Cheap Trick are better songs, better musicians, but they are still making records. They always did. They kept making albums, and Kiss kind of just can't be bothered anymore. So I think Cheap Trick still enjoy being Cheap Trick, and Kiss just enjoy the money. I'm sure Kiss gets something from the live experience, but they're not really a band, are they? Because they don't make music. So it's a nostalgia thing, and that ergo is a museum piece, and Cheap Trick are not a museum piece. And as bands like Cheap Trick, I was really lucky when I started picking my favourite bands, or my favourite bands started finding me. Really lucky that I had bands that were just going to keep making music and keep inspiring me. And as a musician, obviously I want to know that when you hit a certain age, you don't just dry up and have to go and sit in a field for the rest of your life. Cheap Trick remind me that it's all about the music. Sparks remind me that it's all about the music. Kiss, it was about the money, wasn't it? So yeah, easy one, that one. Kiss, not as good as Cheap Trick. Sure, I would be hard pushed to find anyone who could disagree with that. Bex123 asks, if the current lineup of Ben, John, Charles and Carol didn't accept the Wildhearts jobs, who were the second choices for the positions? There wasn't any second choices. This whole thing fell into place really organic. I don't know who we would have picked to play guitar apart from Ben. He sings, he plays guitars, he knows the songs, he gets on with everyone, he looks like a Wildheart. I mean, I'm not sure that there is anyone else apart from Ben. John, I'm not sure I would have really wanted to do it if John had turned it down. I'm not sure I'd want to do the Wildhearts without John. Carol kind of invited herself in from point of fact that she was easily good enough to do the job that I wanted someone to do, and she's one of the nicest human beings on the planet. And Charles, I still feel like every day, like I got really lucky finding Charles. Just, there was no one else apart from Charles. We would have really struggled to find someone that covers all the angles that I want a drummer to cover. So yeah, there was never going to be a second choice for the Wildhearts, because this one fell into place nice and organic like, and that's why it works so well. And a lot of people probably think that I just pick and fire people at will, and I don't, because musicians are really hard to find. Good musicians are really hard to find. I want to find a good musician. The last thing I want to do in the world is get rid of them. So yeah, this lineup is here to stay. When you hear the new album, you will agree that it should be here to stay, because we make a lovely sound together. The vibe is great. If this lineup hadn't done it, I don't think I would have continued with the Wildhearts. Put it that way. Darth Elvis asks, we know you're a huge horror fan. Not as big as he used to be. I'm losing a lot of weight. What other genres of film are you a fan of? Any films outside of horror you would recommend? Well, I like any films, but I don't know what it is. I can forgive crappy horror if it's got a good cast, or if it's got good gore, if it's got good intentions. But crappy comedy, it's hard work. I love war films if they're really realistic. I love Western films if they're really realistic. I love comedies if they've got a dark kind of streak going through the humour. Are there any more films I'd recommend? Oh my God, there's tons of films I'd recommend. What genre? Comedy, as good as it gets. Western, I saw Tombstone recently. I'd recommend that. War, I don't know. Can't go wrong with Saving Private Ryan, but you've already seen it. There's a lot of good war films. Come and See. There's a really good film called Come and See. There's lots of good war films, but they tend to be foreign films. I don't think English and American make very good war films, oddly. It's all a bit jingoistic, or it's kind of kissing their own flag a bit. But I like prison movies, really good, gritty prison movies. Documentaries. Apart from horror, I watch more documentaries than anything else, and I don't know what documentaries to recommend. There's too many. What good one? I saw the Billy Joel documentary, 2-part documentary. That was really good. I saw the Pee Wee Herman documentary. That was a 3-part documentary. That's really good. Definitely worth watching. I can watch documentaries about anyone. I don't have to have any interest in them. I can watch documentaries about bands that I don't even like the music of. Yesterday I tried to watch one. Michael Winterbottom filmed a documentary on a band called Wolf Alice. Now I've really got into Wolf Alice lately, and I have the new album, which will be my album of the week this week. But so I watched the documentary. My God, how fucking boring. Avoid it at all costs. It's fucking shit. And what they've done is they've tried to shoehorn in some real actors in a band and crew on the road scenario. Now, band and crew on the road thing is so nuanced, but it's based on familiarity. Everyone knows everyone's, humorous riffs and stuff, and everyone knows where to back off, and no one's got a script. And you can really tell when someone's acting in a situation like that. It just looks ridiculous. What a bag of shit. Awful. I lasted about 30 minutes and I really wanted to watch it because the bits of Wolf Alice live are fantastic. But Wolf Alice being natural next to actors just doesn't work on any level. It's a terrible idea. Shame on you, Michael Winterbottom. So yeah, I like loads of different films, but it's one of those, I like loads of different food. Can you recommend one? I don't know. What the fuck do you like? Tell me what films you like, and I'll recommend you some really good ones. Kev from Newcastle. I was going to say cheers, Kev from Newcastle, but it's cheers, stroke. Kev from Newcastle. Here's one for you. What's your mum's favourite Wildhearts solo song? I don't think she has any. I don't think she likes. I'm sure she likes my music, but not enough to listen to. That's kind of quite a diplomatic way of putting it. I don't think my mum really likes my stuff. Last time I was round her house, I played her a song called Time, and she was very impressed, but I don't think she liked it that much. So yeah, my mum doesn't play my music. I don't think. Yeah, I get it. I don't like the music that my mum listens to. She likes really commercial stuff and people like opera singers and stuff like that. I'm not for people like my mum's ears. Kev R says, hello Ginger, I hope you are well and good. I am very well and very good. I'm fantastic actually. Feeling very, very connected to the source. Feeling very surprisingly fit and healthy considering I haven't almost done any exercise for the best part of a week. I've had the family over here for the weekend, which was chaos for a few days. Brilliant, magical, but not the sort of environment where you're going to pop up to the gym and do a workout. So I haven't done anything, but I feel great. I feel strong. I feel, like I say, connected. I feel really connected. I'm fucking so happy. I found out that, probably told you about Penny the Hedgehog, but, had a wild hedgehog. She went away in spring, after hibernation, and then came back. So I've been following her around, and the family have been here looking at her, and she's been just on form, performing for everybody. And so we saw her the other day, and she looked a bit sheepish and a little bit larger than she normally is. And I'm like, yeah, she's probably pregnant. I saw another hedgehog following her around, and we're watching this hedgehog, and I hear crunching coming from the feeding box. So I had a look in the feeding box, and there's Penny. So we've got two hedgehogs. Fuck knows who this other one is. Presumably he's a boy after he's whole. So we've named him Bear, and so now we've got two hedgehogs. And that, gaining the trust of a wild hedgehog to the point where they consider your garden to be their home. There's nothing that society can offer me that matches that. Having two wild hedgehogs, fuck off. That's like winning the lottery for me. It really is. There's nothing I'd rather have than that. Something like that. And when we found out about the two hedgehogs, it was just, I was filled with such a sense of childlike happiness. That's the only way I can describe it. Childlike happiness, like almost bursting with glee. And then all this other sort of stuff happened. The energy levels were raised up, and I felt like I was super connected. And then we saw lights darting in and out the sky, floating around like leaves And that happens bizarrely in this one area that is the area that wrote the Northern Spirit song I was telling you about. So there's definitely strange energies, but when your energy is elevated and it matches this energy, like waves, they connect and they make more energy, or they make, whatever, the energy goes somewhere, and no idea, no one knows, let's face it, but something weird happens. And then, so we're looking up at the sky and we're just seeing lights just moving around. Like, does this happen all the time? Yeah, a lot of stuff happens all the time, but for definite, it happens a lot when you're feeling emotionally and spiritually elevated. All this weird stuff happens. I will be scratching myself a lot because the midges have been at me. And when I'm asleep, I'll be lying in bed, scratching my arms, and then I wake up in the morning and I'm fucking on fire. So that's what's going on. I haven't got scabies, not that I know of anyway. Kev R says, what was the first song you wrote and what was the last song you wrote? Interesting one. And what's the best song you wrote? And is there a song you wrote that you regret recording and releasing? Take the first one first. First song I wrote was a song called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. And I had a guitar, 3 strings on it that I got from my cousin. Play the guitar. So I just went like that on the thing. And the first song I ever wrote, and I remember it, and it was a don't be afraid of what people might say, and don't be afraid of the dark. That was the first song I ever wrote. Probably before I ever heard the Ramones. Unlike Ramones, that actually. But I still remember it, so there you go. What can you do? What was the last song I wrote? Well, the last song I wrote was a song called Spider Beach, which was recorded on the new album, which I think I want to put in the set. I know you're not supposed to put brand new songs in the set, but it's really fairly short, very concise, to the point. It's catchy, you remember it, and I like it a lot. I think I spoke about it. It was about conquering your phobias. And I got the idea of this song when I was sitting on a beach, not knowing, sitting on a part of the lake around here that I find my most peaceful moments. And a lot of my information comes from this little place. And it wasn't until I figured that, there's no flies here. And then I started looking around. There's tons of little spiders everywhere. And I used to be terrified of spiders. So conquering your phobia, there's a magic in there. Definitely worth writing a song about. What's the best song you wrote? I've already mentioned it, Time. I don't know if it's the best one, but it's my favourite. I mean, I've written a lot of songs now, but I do like Time from the 555 album. I think it's on the 100% album. Don't know if it's on Spotify. I don't know, to be honest. But it's just one of them songs. And as I wrote it, it was a communal effort. John Poole was writing bits. Chris Catalyst was there writing bits. But this song is just my favourite thing that I've ever recorded still. But I would say that it might be usurped by something on the new album. Not sure what it is, but there's a few songs on the new album that I really think we've captured something. So I think Time might get replaced by something from the new album soon. So there you go. Is there a song that you regret recording and releasing? Yes. There's loads of them. Songs where I'm just mercilessly angry. It's just the vitriol is just dripping from the song. I guess if someone listened to that song, they'd get a different feeling from it than I do. Maybe they'd just, listen to the lyrics, listen to the riff rather, or maybe they'd listen to the lyrics and it would fit into their life and it would mean something. So regret is the wrong word. I can't listen to them. I find them cringe, some of them. Some of the stuff on the White Album where I was really pissed off. Maybe. So the Sweetest Song, that's nasty. That's a nasty song. I think that's pointlessly nasty. I don't know if I regret recording any of them because you go back. It's like having there's any haircuts you regret? Like, yeah, everyone's got haircuts to regret. Would you go back in time and change it? It didn't fucking matter, does it? I have a different relationship with the songs than you do, and that's all I can really say on that one. They're not regrettable. I look back at them, if anything, I look back on them just glad that I'm not feeling like that anymore. Not regretting that I felt like that because it served a purpose and the anger fueled the songs, otherwise there might not have been any songs. So regret's not the right word, but I'm glad that I'm not there anymore. Glad that I'm writing things about something different. I'm glad that the subject matter changes all the time. That's one of the best bits about this. I'm glad that the subject matter and the spirit in which the songs are written changes. I'm glad that my attitude towards things changes. You're supposed to change. I forget who is the quote. Is it Carl Jung? Where it says that if you think the same at 50 as you do at 20, you've wasted 30 years of your life. And I completely agree with that. You are supposed to learn, you are supposed to change. And regret, I don't have any time for regret. Yeah, don't have any regret, but I couldn't listen to some of those old songs because I find them a bit cringe. This is from Frank Jacobs 2946. Hey, Frank Jacobs 2946. Your song mixes have all been extremely mid-frequency heavy washes of guitars. A conscious decision, always wanted to know. Yes, it's a conscious decision. I like guitars, but I find rock albums, I just don't like the sound of them. Butt heads a lot with producers about this. I don't like the sound of it's all just bottom end. And I know that's the sound that people like, but I don't like a lot of heavy rock music because of that. I listen to it and I just go, well, there's nothing really making any chords. It just sounds like a load of... and I gather that's quite the thing, so not my bag. I listen to a lot of different types of music that do feature mid-range frequencies. I love indie pop, which features a lot of mid-range frequencies. And I always want to incorporate that into the rock albums because I'm not making heavy metal albums. But that's really hard to get that across to people that you're working with sometimes because they don't have the record collection I have. Not everybody is into the sound of guitars, I find. In my experience anyway, I find a lot of people, they don't mind when the guitars are really quiet. And I'm like, but there's two guitar players. Surely it should be as loud as the one bass player or whatever. Yeah, I do like mid-range frequencies, but I like the whole wash. I like music to be like a panoramic wash of sound and not just a scooped out, there's your heavy, there's your top end. I like featuring hi-hats and cymbals, and I like featuring harmonies, all of which are very middly. And producers fucking hate that. And they're happy just barely hearing the kick drum, all snare, all bass. And the guitar's no body to them, no, just a bottom end fuzz. And the harmonies, the vocals really forward and the harmonies really far back. I don't like that sound. Like I say, I gather it's quite the thing. It's very popular. Otherwise, everybody's fucking records wouldn't sound like that. But the problem is everybody's records sound like that. And I've been around long enough to know that if you're going to go for a sound that's popular at the time, your records are going to age usually badly and invariably quickly. And I like to think that people can go back to listen to my record and it doesn't sound like anything. It doesn't sound that much like the music was at the time, and it doesn't sound like music is at the time now. And I think that timeless thing is lost on a lot of people when you're working in studios with a lot of bands who want to sound current. To say I'm going to push all the mid-ranges is almost like I'm going to put tons and tons of salt in this dish. And sometimes that works. As anyone who cooks will know, salt can be really nice. There you go. I like mid-range frequencies. Frank Jacobs 2946. Jason Turner says, why do you think other band members didn't contribute songs when you asked them to? Was it because they knew you would carry the load? I presume that's why. Because they knew I would carry the load because they didn't have to. And a lot of people don't do anything. Not just bands and not just members of the Wildhearts that I'm talking about right now, but a lot of people don't do anything they don't have to do. Not everybody likes to be productive. And I like to be productive, obviously, as you probably noticed by the fucking vast amount of ridiculous fucking records that I've made. But I think a lot of the times people didn't come to song. Maybe there was, and I hate to say this because it sounds like I'm blowing smoke up my arse, but maybe there was times where people said, I've got a song, but, it might not be good enough because Ginger writes songs that I think are really good. I struggle to think that that's the reason, but maybe it is. I don't know. In which case it's complimentary and not lazy. But I do think a lot of the time it was laziness. They didn't have to, so they didn't. And when someone's doing it, when someone says, well, I'll do it for you, I'll lift that. Do you want it? Will you carry a bag? No, well, I'll carry it because I don't want it in the middle of the floor. Then they realise that at the end of it, they've got no songs. And I imagine that at a time now where I'm living off my publishing because of writing so many songs, I bet the rest of the band and the musicians that I work with wish that they had wrote songs for a band who are selling enough records to warrant a decent publishing deal, because they're not collecting a lot of publishing on their few songs that they wrote. And then they would go away and do a solo album that's going to sell to far fewer people and write all the songs. It doesn't make it make sense. But I don't know. But I think it's probably because they knew I would just do it for them anyway. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Why wouldn't you want publishing money? Why wouldn't you want something to get out of bed of in the morning? Why wouldn't you want to say what's on your mind? Why wouldn't you want to tell the world, here I am as a human being. This is me. Does anybody vibe with me? Does anybody agree with what I'm saying? Why wouldn't you want to do that? I don't know. People don't make fucking sense to me. At the best of times, people don't make sense to me. But when it comes to productivity and creativity, invariably they make no sense. Because I don't know why people don't want to be creative or don't want to get stuck into the creative process, because it's a lot of fun and you hang out with other people and you're making something that didn't exist before you all got together, and I dig that. I don't know why other people don't. Phil says, please may I ask Ginger some related questions? Yes, I'm here and you may. Sorry, I'm trying to read with these new glasses that I found, which actually are made from my old prescription. You go to the fucking eye person and they put you in that fucking crazy machine, and then they go, this is the glasses that you need. And I used to get headaches when I used to wear my prescription glasses. Apart from the fact they cost a fucking fortune. So I just went online and bought the nearest ones to them and got used to wearing them. And now I find that they're really easy. They fucking cost a lot less money. But when you find a pair of prescription glasses, I really can't fucking see out of them properly. So much for having my eyesight down to a T. Don't trust fucking doctors. Don't trust anyone for your health. That's me saying that, not you. But I don't trust people that don't know you telling you what's best for you. Don't trust you. That was my stomach. If you heard rumbling there, it wasn't thunder. It was me. I forget to eat. I forget to eat. Did anyone else just, you forget to eat and then all of a sudden you haven't eaten? And then I get to a point in the day where I go, oh, I feel weird. I'm either tired or hungry. And then I'll eat something and go, oh, it was hungry. Or I'll eat something and go, still feel weird, I'm tired. That's how I live my fucking life, honestly. In your podcast that ranked your solo albums, Teeth was missed out. Was that intentional? Where would you rank it? Any chance of a physical release? Does that depend on Round Records? Does Round Records still exist? No, it just fell apart, and it was just one of those things where I had a lot of high hopes for it and it didn't work out. You move on. I've got no time to wallow in the fucking past. Like I said, I've got no regrets. It was fun when it worked. It was nice to have a record label and tell everyone I'm releasing my music on my label. I fucking really liked that, and it was really handy because there was a lot of times where I wouldn't have got albums out without Round Records. But now I'm working with a label, I can really see the benefits of working with an established label, and I can't imagine going back and releasing. Having said that, we were talking about Teeth the other day, and someone else, another label, wants to release it. So yes, it will be getting a physical release. No, it won't be on Round Records. And where would I put it in my ranking my solo albums? I haven't listened to it that much, to be honest, but I'd have it top 10. You'll be up there, maybe 7, 8, something like that. I really like Teeth. I don't know it that well, but if we release it, I'll be listening to it again because I'll have to check it for mastering and try the test pressings out before you go and manufacture. But we're doing nothing until everyone gets their copy of It Came From the North. And I know there's a few people complaining about it still, but I'm working as fast as I can. I've only been involved in getting everyone their CDs for the last couple of weeks. And it's been a really busy couple of weeks, so there's been a lot of other stuff in between. But I will get everybody who lets me know they haven't got a CD, their CDs. And then we'll probably... I was going to say, do you want a refund or do you want a vinyl? But I'm just going to say, do you want the vinyl? And I can guarantee that you'll get it by this time. And I will. I haven't been involved in this before. I haven't been involved in admin. There are different departments. I do the music. I don't do admin. I don't do fulfillment, manufacturing, none of that. But I am now. I'm going to get involved and do that. But I think there's talk about that being done and then releasing Teeth. And I like the idea of releasing Teeth because I want it. I want it on white vinyl. But It Came From the North is getting done first before anything else gets released. So there you go. Brad says, can you tell us about the new album? Are you the major songwriter or are the rest of the band chipping in? Can we expect to see a different direction to previous lineups? I loved the last album, by the way. Thank you, Brad. I liked the last album as well. And I'm glad to see that a lot of you did. And that was, when I was recording it, wasn't a guarantee. But there's a lot of people that went into that album. Some of them even, bless them, had the decency to review the album saying that they didn't want to like it. And then they turned around and liked it. Now, I said there's nothing society can offer me that matches two hedgehogs, wild hedgehogs living in your garden. But I don't know if that equals it. Someone who didn't want to like your record, who listens to your record with the intention of not liking it, and then liking it, really liking it. That's almost as good as having two wild hedgehogs. Can we expect to see a different direction than the previous lineups? Not a different direction. I mean, it's the Wildhearts world. It's songs with riffs and big choruses and fun lyrics, really melodic. It's just the Wildhearts world. It goes out, pushes the boat out a little bit. There's some areas that we might not have done a lot in the past. But no, especially after the reception that the last album got, I don't think this one's going to put anyone off, put it that way. So it's very much the Wildhearts world. Like I said in the last podcast, a lot of you are going to like this one the best, and I kind of know why, because it just sounds fresh. A lot of the songs I wrote, but I always like people chipping in. This time there was something went wrong, and I'm not going to go into it. Don't even care to go into it. But something went wrong and we didn't have as much time to arrange and rehearse the songs before the demos that I wanted. I wanted to have a week, and we had, I think, 2 days, 3 days or something like that. So we got as much as we could done, but we had to learn these songs, so I had to do most of the writing. And the plan was to write with everyone. Just didn't work like that time-wise this time. The next album will be absolutely co-written, because there's tons of great writers in this band now. There's no reason in the world not to have them writing songs. But yeah, the new album's great. I really like it. Really like it. It's just getting the mix right, because there's like I say, it touches on a lot of different departments that we don't normally wallow in. Someone come to the gate there. Who that is? Can't even fucking see them properly with these stupid fucking glasses on. Why are you wearing them then? It's a very good question, and I don't know. I saw them and I thought, I'll wear them. They're funny. Not so funny now, is it? But it's great. I love it. When we get the mix right, I think it'll be my favourite Wildhearts record. James, with a Y. That's a Y in the middle. James. James asks, tell us one thing about Ginger Wildheart that would surprise us. What would surprise you after all these years? Imagine you're pretty unshockable right now after the shit that I've fucking put you through. What would surprise you? I'm really hygienic. I smell really nice. I think a lot of people see dreadlocks and just think you stink and you never wash your hair, which anyone who's got dreadlocks knows that you have to wash your hair, otherwise it turns into one big dreadlock. But I'm obsessively hygienic, and I have a very clean house. That might surprise a lot of people, seeing how messy it is. But yeah, I smell really nice. That's probably the one thing that might surprise anyone if you think all rockers don't shower and don't pay attention to their natural body odours. Some of us do, and some of us are very, very keen on smelling lovely, if not for no one else in the world but yourself. And I like to exercise. I like to exercise every day if I can, and if I exercise, I definitely jump in the shower afterwards. Part of the exercise thing, I feel like. Best thing about exercising is a shower afterwards, isn't it? Because the rest of it's fucking horrible. I did it this morning after a few days. Like I say, the family's all being around. We're being crazy busy doing other stuff. And fuck me. If I don't exercise for a few days, I start feeling like I'm falling apart. Like literally. And my niece is very young, 25 or something. And she's Navy. She fucking exercises all the time. And she says the same thing. So I think it applies to everyone. If you like to exercise regularly because you like to feel good, if you don't do it, you start feeling bad pretty fucking quickly. But I feel great today. Exercised after the first time in a while and was surprisingly strong. I increased my weights on some stuff, and that's fucking good news. Jace asks, my question is, which of the other members of the previous lineups do you rate as the best songwriter? And are there any songs you particularly like that they have written? I like Rich's songwriting, but he wouldn't write that much. But I liked his writing. I liked his lyrics. He had funny lyrics. There was a few digs at me in some of his songs that I found really funny. And that's another thing. People would be surprised. I like when people write songs about me, even if they're horrible. I think that's quite nice. I like when CJ writes songs about me. And although he doesn't have his vocals loud enough, so I can never hear what he's saying. But I like when he badmouths me in his songs. I find that quite flattering, oddly enough. But I like Richard's song. But I think my favourite songwriter of all of them, Steady was a really good writer as well. And Danny had his moments, but he was just very lazy. Wouldn't finish these songs. He'd have a great chorus, and that would be it. But Scott's probably my favourite writer of all the previous lineups. I say John Poole's my favourite writer of the current lineup. Although Carol's fucking amazing writer as well. This is a hard one. But I would say of the previous lineups, I would say Scott, because Scott's got a great punk heart with rock and roll indelibly etched in there, and there's a bit of country in there, and I love his lyrics. He's a really good lyricist, and wish that he would write more. And obviously, I gather that he's unable to write at the moment, but Scott's my brother, and I constantly send out good feelings for him, and I wish I could afford to go and see him, but I can't. That's why I'm not going over there to see him. But Scott Surrey is my favourite writer of the last lineups. J.R. Remke says, enjoyed the show. What show? Podcast? I don't know. What was the Trail of the Dead album you mentioned? Oh, it must have been a podcast. I mentioned before Band of the Week started. Well, it would have been So Divided. My go-to, if I was mentioning a Trail of the Dead album, it would have been So Divided. But there's one that I might have shown you, the one with the blue cover. I can never remember the title of it. But it's got this kind of weird diagram, kind of almost technical drawing picture on the front. That's really good. That's what Conrad Keeley says is his favourite album. But mine is always So Divided. There's just something about that album I think is magical. And I have yet to meet anyone who listens to it who doesn't agree. Chris W. says, do you watch any TV quiz shows? How's your general knowledge? My general knowledge is pretty good. I imagine Ginger Wilder at the Rockstar sitting in front of the telly with a mug of Yorkshire tea watching The Chase on an afternoon. Well, Chris W., I don't watch TV. I never watch TV. I never have. I don't have access to TV. I've got a television screen that I use as a monitor, and I plug my laptop in and watch YouTube on there, stuff like that. Some stuff on Netflix, some dodgy streaming sites that I accidentally happen upon. But I don't watch TV. I only ever see TV if I visit my mum and she has TV on and reminds me why I don't watch TV, because it's fucking rubbish. Mindless at best and evil and manipulative at worst, especially with things like the news and stuff. But any current affairs programs, they've got agendas that tie in with what's going on politically. Even if it's not necessarily a political thing, it'll be right-leaning. There'll be a thread of hatred and distrust based on exactly the same bullshit that the media are peddling, usually by rich right-wing oligarchs. Well, probably even right-wing, because they don't give a shit about you, whether you're right-wing or left-wing, the people that are controlling behind the scenes. So I don't watch TV. Morally, I don't watch TV because I think it's repugnant. And personally, I don't watch TV because I think it's shit. My mum never, ever watched, there's some great documentaries, though. I mean, yeah, but there's great documentaries everywhere. There's free streaming sites, legal ones, that have nothing but documentaries. So if you want to watch a documentary, I wouldn't go to fucking ITV. I think it's bullshit. And you just see how people's opinions are because they watch TV. You're being gently guided into an unhealthy place by your television set, and usually because of the bullshit agendas. Yeah, I don't watch TV, and I advise you not to watch TV because you're not going to miss anything from it. If you like game shows, fucking get them on YouTube. But me and I'm quite knowledgeable. I'm good in a pub quiz. You know, me and Dunk always say that if we're in a pub quiz, we good chances are good. If me and him's on your team, we're good with pub quizzes. But I've got my general knowledge is fairly good, actually. And the older I get, the better my memory gets. I lost my memory for a while, and now I'm getting it back. I'm getting it back plus. It's fucking really good. And that happened, again, I'm not talking about anything that you should do. I'm just talking about me. I got a lot of my faculties back when I came off medication. I've now clear of medication for about a month, maybe a little bit more than a couple of months. But I won't go back to see doctors for my health. I have educated myself on what makes you unhealthy and what makes you healthier. Maybe not everyone is predisposed to be healthy, but there's ways that you can be less unhealthy, because it comes down to exercise, attitude, and diet, obviously. And then the company you keep and all stuff like that. All of these things, but doctors, they can make you sick. Now, I know if something's falling out of your body that should be on the inside, you probably need to see a doctor or go to a hospital or something. But for the most part, people are kept unhealthy by their doctors because they've got some ailment that they could just treat by core work, sit-ups and press-ups. I had a fucked up shoulder and a fucked up back, and I got all this bullshit advice from therapists, from physiotherapists, from, none of it, not bullshit. I'll change that. Bullshit for me, because they didn't know me. They're telling me, people that don't know you telling you what's good for you is wrong. It's obvious that it's wrong. They're not experts. They're from medical school. They're reading it out of a book. They're not experts on anything apart from physiology, how the body's made up and everything. But they're not experts on you. For the most part, I think that's probably true, but especially for me, that's what I've found. And since I've stopped seeing doctors, I feel a lot fucking better in every single department. And since I stopped taking medication for my bipolar 2 and my depression, my bipolar 2 is now completely manageable. My depression is completely manageable. And I find that the laws allow me to put my training, my stoicism and stuff like that into practice, and my highs I wasn't expecting. My God, my spiritual training, the highs just make, like the fucking hedgehogs the other day. I just got on this spiritual high and all this fucking mad stuff. Lamps started lighting that ran out of battery. Just loads and loads of weird little bits of fucking stuff like that started happening. I don't know what it is, but I know that it fucking works. And there was other people around there going, them lamps are not supposed to be working. Why are they fucking... It's weird. There's a weird world. But I do believe that you are two experiences. You are the physical and you are the non-physical. And people ignore the non-physical and get trapped in the physical, which means that they get trapped in ego. Ego exists from the past, your subconscious, things that have happened, conditioning, habits and stuff like that. And they ignore, and in most times, they deny the existence of the non-physical. Now imagine that. You're a human being. You've got a physical component and a non-physical component of your experience. And you deny the non-physical because you can't see it. And you wonder why you're miserable. You wonder why you're fucking... Honestly, the more I started getting into the non-physical aspects of the experience and of existence, my physical life went stratospherically improved. It wasn't even things got better. All my ailments disappeared. I mean, stuff like that, stuff that you go to doctors for. You pay doctors to fucking give you their opinions, and the answer's there all along. It's your fucking spiritual side. You're ignoring your spiritual side, so your physical side's getting half the benefit. But anyway, that's what I think. But I do think that it's true, and people that deny the non-physical side, the problems that plague them come back again and again and again, and the dramas that plague them and the bad fortune that plagues them comes back again and again. And they're like, oh, well, that's just life, No, it's not. That's physical life. The physical world isn't even half of what you're supposed to be experiencing. It's a trap. It's a prison. We're trapped in the physical fucking world. I won't go on, but if you want to know anything more about my opinions on this, then ask and I will go on. I'll be happy to go on, but just not right now. So seeing the new member profiles and Carol supporting Pen Friend the other week, I can see that they are all busy people. This is by Steve Handley. Will the Wildhearts be top priority for them, or will you have to find time for all their projects? Obviously, the Wildhearts should be a top priority. I agree, Steve Handley. I agree. But we live in the real world, and people have to pay rent. People have to eat. I don't know if you've noticed, but the Wildhearts haven't been playing live very much this year. I don't know why. I wasn't booking the gigs. Also, neither were the people that were supposed to be booking the gigs. The people that we were working with didn't believe in booking us very many gigs, so everyone's skint. So everyone's got to go and fucking work. Not skint, but everyone's got to work. They're musicians, so they go to work playing music. My plan now is I'm going to streamline this fucking thing. If you want anything done, do it yourself. I'm going to start getting more involved in departments I don't want to get involved in. I don't want to manage a band, but I'm going to kind of help manage, with the help of some other people, help manage this band in a position where people can afford to be in this band and don't have to go and play gigs unless they want to. So I don't want the Wildhearts to be top priority for anyone, but I want people to appreciate that it's providing a living. So it would be priority because, they're not going to say, oh, well, I've got to turn down that tour that I'm going to get loads of money from because I've got to play these little gigs. Because obviously that wouldn't work very well and they wouldn't last very long in the group. But everyone loves the band. Everyone in the band loves the band. When we're doing anything, it's top priority. Let's put it that way. When we're doing anything, no one's coming in half-arsed. Everyone gives it their absolute 100%. They're focused and they believe in this, and we all get a real vibe, a lot of energy. There's a real hard, heavy frequency with this group. That's why I want to get out in December, just play some gigs wherever they are. Don't even care. Just turn up and play some gigs so we can get that frequency that we create, that we connect with, whatever it is, and get it out to you in a smaller room so everyone can feel it. I can see the people at the back and I go, are you feeling it? They'll be, yeah. And that's because everyone is really 100% committed one way together. Who has the biggest ego in the business? Says Daisy. Biggest ego in this business? Kiss, I'd say. The most unpleasant ego. I mean, there's a lot of them. But it all depends on what you mean by ego. Because there's cockiness, like Liam Gallagher, that I love. I think it's essential that people who can back it up are cocky. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Cocksure. Get on there and you go like, yeah, it's not all talk. Listen to this. Just going to do Liam Gallagher and I'm not going to bother. Yeah, but people like Ted Nugent who force their political views down your neck like you should fucking care. I used to be very political myself and I just realised that what a thing to push your political views on people. And especially what's going on now and everyone's riding this fucking political thing like musicians airing their political views are not educating anyone on anything. If you don't know what's going on in Gaza right now and you haven't got an opinion on it, then fucking you're fucked if Bob Villan is your fucking news outlet. You're fucked. You're not paying attention. Musicians aren't going to do anything for you and everybody else already has their political alignment and it, long may that should be the case. But I mean, politicians are constantly telling you your views like them just repeating themselves all the time is going to change your mind or make you smarter. Oh, that kind of ego I've got no time for. And Ted Nugent's thing on everything from fucking trans to vegetarianism, just keep it in your fucking mouth and then put your head back up your arse where it belongs. Kiss's views on everything that Paul Stanley talks about rankles me. It makes me just feel sick when he talks. I'm not even going to go into it. Not even going to go into it. Musicians that have that kind of that sense of self where they think that their political opinions not only matter but are going to change yours. They're the biggest egos in the business. And then there's people that ego is a funny thing. Ego, you are getting trapped by ego, like I said before, and not being open to consciousness. Consciousness is aware of itself in the 3D plane through you. That's your non-physical experience, that I think. When you get trapped in ego, what ego is doing is, you have a weakness and your ego is straight on the phone to your subconscious. Hey, subconscious, have you got any memories of particularly harrowing things and any mistakes the person made? And have you got anything shit that they said 15 years ago? Yeah, it'll be right there with you. That's what your ego does when you're trapped in the physical world. But your ego is your sense of self. Having a healthy ego, I think, is really healthy. Having an ego where you don't feel any fears. And I'm not saying that there's not danger in the world, obviously, but you're not fearful. You're not over anxious about the future. You're not depressed about the past. You've come to terms with a lot of your own personal problems and you're sharing a bed with them again. That's when your ego could be a very good thing. So a big ego could be someone who wants a fucking red carpet from the dressing room to the stage. Yeah. But if that person goes on stage and performs like Prince, they fucking deserve a red carpet. I'd fucking go out and fucking buy the cunt for them. So yeah, what is ego? Overinflated sense of self. A distorted, overinflated sense of self. That's ego problems, I think. And there's a lot of that in music, and it's unwarranted because they're not that good. Keith W. says, I love the fact that you sometimes inject humour into some of the most painful experiences a person can go through. Is there any truth behind the song Paramore? Oh my God. Why is the Reaper only a minute and a half long? Paramore's a true story. I've got a feeling I've answered this, but if I haven't, I'll do it quickly. Paramore is a true story. Obviously, I don't want to go into too much, but it was someone who was best friend with their ex-girlfriend, and they were really, really pretty. And so the song is like, yeah, I'd like to fuck her as well. But, you know, she's always there, and you're always going off together, and it was one of those songs. And why is the Reaper only a minute and a half long? Because I didn't like it. I thought it was shit, which is why I shouldn't be in charge of picking songs on albums and stuff like that. Why I should be co-writing with people, because there's a lot of stuff I sack off that someone else might go, it's fucking great. But I've never met anyone who's heard the Reaper who doesn't love it. Most people think it's the best song on the album. I just wanted to get it done, out the way. I've explained before, I don't self-censor my songs too much because of The Miles Away Girl. I wasn't going to put on the album because it was a love song and it pulled someone out of a coma, and then I went, I'm fucking rubbish at this. I should never ever be in charge of what songs do or don't go on an album. But if it's a song I don't really like, I'll probably end up cutting it short. Such was the case with the Reaper, and I shouldn't have done it because it's fucking really popular. I still don't think it's very good, but really popular. Fucking hell. Michael Record. Oh, this is going to be funny. I saw Carol play in Peterborough. These are going back in time, if any of them. I've just got a big pile of them here, and I'm going to get through as many as I can while the sands of time are allowing me to do so. I saw Carol play in Peterborough on Sunday, which God knows when that was. She told me you were delighted to discover the spark jets on stage for the Wildhearts show were cold so you can play virtually on top of them. Was performing surrounded by pyro effects how you envisaged past tours? Yes, but pyro has become the bugbear of my life, and I won't be using pyro until we can do it properly with venues that actually allow it. And we had people booking venues that didn't allow pyro, and we had a load of pyro that were paid for that we couldn't fucking use. It was a fucking nightmare. And so as a compromise, we ended up using these sparks that are cold, and I think they look awful. I don't like cold pyro. I don't like CO2 compression things. I really don't. But I found I was really cheered up by the fact that you can put your guitar on top of cold pyro and it makes the sparks go all over the place. I like that. And I also like that Dunk hates me doing it because it fucks the guitar up, and so I like it even a bit more. But yeah, I don't want to use cold pyro. I don't think it looks very good. I don't like when bands use it because it's fucking safer. I like pyro to be dangerous. So until I can use proper pyro and I'm playing venues that allow pyro, I won't be using it because it's a fucking fast track to heartache. And it fucking broke my heart and cost a fucking fortune. And we didn't even use them. Please, can you do another review podcast, but of Wildhearts singles this time? Says Ian. Maybe. That'll be a good one. Singles. At least I know how many we've got and I could talk about them. And it's not like picking your favourite Wildhearts songs, because a lot of the singles are my least favourite Wildhearts songs. So that might be interesting. Yes, Ian, I imagine that would be a good podcast because I'd have a lot to say. And as you know, I like having a lot to say. Mark H. Who are I'll Be Your Monster and maintain radio silence about, if anyone in particular? They're not about anyone in particular. They're about narcissism. And narcissists are all over the place. And everybody knows them. And they're always victims. And it's always someone else's fault. And there's always someone to blame for everything. And that is, in a nutshell, what narcissism is all about. A bizarre and distorted sense of self-importance. And I think when you break away from your ego, you see narcissism as being funny, but really weird. Because these people don't back it up with anything. So it's just all opinions and all, just a desperate deflection of blame. And once you get away from that and realize there is no blame, you shouldn't even be blaming yourself. There's nothing to blame. Things go right, things go wrong. That's just the way life goes. There's no fucking closure always. There's no person to point the finger at. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of people that point the finger at someone as being at fault for everything, because everybody should have enough humility to take some of the responsibility. And if you're not going to take any of the responsibility, you're a cunt. And, that's why I write songs like I'll Be Your Monster and Maintain Radio Silence. And yeah, they're about a few different people. But the concept of narcissism isn't based on a few people that I know. It's based on a lot of people I don't know. Farage, fucking Tate or Brand or fucking any of these cunts. They don't have a healthy sense of awareness. And that's what those songs are about. Not one person. Because I don't think any narcissist is worth an entire song about them, to be frank. Time for a couple more. You know what? I could actually get through all of these, so I'm going to try and get through them all, and it might be a longer podcast, and it just means that Phil has got more editing to do. I'm going to answer them nice and quick. And then I've got through my whole envelope of questions. Oh, this is a good podcast. I like this. I hope it's fucking recording. That would be a cunt, wouldn't it? How come Daddy was lead vocals on Anthem? Because I really wanted someone else to sing. I was so sick of singing. And now I've got people that actually are singers in the band. I don't think it's going to be that hard to get people to sing songs going forward, but I just wanted someone to sing. And Danny had the idea of the song and, the riff and the verse. No, the riff and the chorus, I think he had. And the chorus is a bit of a Clash song anyway. So I was like, I want you to sing it. I'll help you with the words and the melody and stuff, but you're singing it. And he reluctantly agreed, and he did a fucking great job. And he at the time was a far more convincing front person than me, I will add. And he's brilliant in that video, the Anthem video. So that's why he was doing it, because I made him, because I wanted other people to sing. I saw a photo of you with Steve Ignorant. Are you a Crass fan or acquainted through Carol Hodge? Both. I mean, I'm not a Crass fanatic like I am Discharge. I know Discharge obviously were big Crass fans. It wasn't in my social circle. I didn't know any Crass fans. Obviously, fucking legends, and they're brilliant. But Steve Ignorant I met through Carol Hodge, and he's just fucking lovely. Like, you imagine someone with a good political stance would be, and he doesn't force it down people's throats. He just sings about what he believes. But it's not like you're not allowed to be like that. It's just like, I'm like this. This is my statement as a human being, all for that. But he's lovely, and I really, really got on with him well, and I can't wait to see him again. And I still haven't seen Crass with Carol. Just haven't had the time, or haven't been around, or whatever, but I still haven't. Bizarre. So I really can't wait to see Crass, because I get to see Steve Ignorant and I get to see Carol on stage together. Do you think you've improved as a lyricist as you've got older? Yes, personally speaking, I do. I think I'm much better because I'm not singing just about grievances or grudges or anger or habits, aggressive habits that I haven't matured enough to deal with. And that's what I find cringe about a lot of my old lyrics. I'm like, you don't have to be like that. No one has to be like that. You can have a word with yourself and be better. And I like my lyrics. I think I'm getting better because I'm getting better as a person. And obviously, I think lyrics improve as you improve as a person. Well, they fucking should anyway. Oh, this is all by Mark, sorry. A question is by Mark. Which of your collaborations have been the best memories for you? Hey, hello, Mutation Sinners. All of them. I think I've enjoyed all of them. Mutation was great because it was just a cathartic process of getting all of this frustration and anger out, but it was just pure white hot anger, and that felt good. It felt good. And again, now I couldn't go back and listen to it and go, yeah, I'm definitely the same person as then. But right then I was just stuck in a hole and didn't know how to get out of it. And so all I could do was write about it. Halo was great when it was great. Just a lot of unfortunate events, but I really enjoyed Halo. It was a really, really good fun. Great band, really good vibe in that band. Good fun. Good fun, really good fun. And Sinners was fantastic. Great players. Some of the best players I've ever played with. Just a really good, authentic sound based on everyone being dead good. And it was great having other singers in the band. It was great having Neil singing. I loved it. Loved it, just providing backing vocals. That was always my dream gig, playing rhythm guitar and backing vocals. And I got a few gigs like Michael Monroe and Courtney and realised it's not actually as much fun when you're doing it, but to split the vocals with people, I love it. That's why my favourite bit of the set was always the Wildhearts was when Danny sang Anthem or Scott sang The Only One. Loved it. Just getting a fucking break from the microphone. Oh, it's an old one. Will you be ranking your solo albums on your podcasting feature? Already done it. So Mark C asks, have you enjoyed the recent UK tour? God, this is going back. How many songs have you got prepared for the next album? All of them. We recorded it and it's really good. Richard, do you ever get writer's block and what do you do to overcome it? I don't get writer's block because I don't sit down and try and write. I go out for a walk and I wait for it to come. And when you wait for it to come, it does come. Build it and they will come kind of thing. I go for a walk and I get myself tuned into whatever it is that I need to connect. So whether if I'm feeling bad, I'll always tune into gratitude. So I'll go out and I'll express gratitude for things, and that invariably within a 20-30 minute walk or 20-30 minutes into a walk, I'm connected again, and I've convinced my brain that I'm not pissed off and I'm not depressed. I'm actually really grateful, and it works. And my brain shuts up, and then I can connect to the thing that comes up with these ideas. Honestly, it works every time. So I don't get writer's block because I don't push it. Brony asks, you said before, there's 3 questions here, so I'm going to do them really quick. You said before that your original intentions would have been for your solo stuff to all be Wildhearts albums and to be a band that embraces that wide variety of styles and sound. My question is, are there any albums that you wouldn't have made as the Wildhearts? Would the Mutation albums be in the Wildhearts? Ghost in the Tanglewood? I think I might have answered this by someone else maybe, but I think if I just kept the Wildhearts together and didn't make solo albums, I wouldn't have done entire albums in styles. Ghost in the Tanglewood, there's nothing stopped me making that kind of record. Mutation, nothing stopped me making that. Before, it would have been a song like Ghost in the Tanglewood on an album with a song like Sound that sounded like Mutation, and I would have done that. And that would have been the way that I would have incorporated all these different styles that I like to write in. I'm re-listening to Bebop Narrative as I type this. Were these songs written in the intent of being Wildhearts songs before? No, I wasn't writing for anything when I was writing Came from the North and Bebop. I was in a really weird place. I was just writing. Some of them would have been Wildhearts songs if I'd written them, but I don't think it would have all got through the net if it had been Wildhearts stuff. For some reason, and I think it's only me that knows what a Wildhearts song should sound like, but I've got a very definite shape of what a Wildhearts should be. Now, it's not a defined shape, and you can fit a lot of things in it, but I've definitely got what I think a Wildhearts, well, I know when a song goes, that's going to be great. And then there's a lot of stuff I write for solo albums because I'm writing for a solo album that doesn't need that kind of restrictions or jurisdiction. I'm in a band who just record for fun at the moment, and that's just 2 of us. I've ended up being the singer of necessity. Oh, I'm sorry, Brony. It's fucking rubbish, isn't it? But I find that my ear for what's a good take for vocals is nowhere near as fussy as my ear for whether guitars are a good take or not. This singer thing is what's a good take for vocals? I still don't know. I know what a good take of guitar is. I still don't know what a good take for vocals is. The producer tells me, And I'm like, really? Is that good enough? Yep, got everything I need. And when we're recording, it's fucking fast. You get everything you need. There's no need to labour over it. I'm a really good guitar player, so I play guitar quick. I put my takes down first, second take, usually first take. So I like to get them down quick. I like to get vocals down quick, but I honestly don't know if I'm doing well in the vocal stakes. I'm still guessing. David S says, hey Ginger, loving these videos, been following since 1993. You were up there with Lennon McCartney in my mind. Fucking hell. Wow. Compliments like that never ever get boring. So thank you very much. Sure, you've been asked before, but what B-sides were close to making it to the main albums? Personally, I love Show a Little Emotion. Was it close to making on Earth Versus? Yes, but it wouldn't have made on Earth Versus because it was a love song. It was about a girl, and I didn't want any songs strictly about a girl on Earth Versus. That's why it didn't get on. But Show a Little Emotion did come out as a B-side, didn't it? Bullshit Goes On, wasn't it? Wasn't that Show a Little Emotion? So I made it as a B-side. But there was a song that we were rehearsing for the last album, the new album, that we demoed, and I just didn't like it. It didn't sound like the record. It didn't. So a lot of the time the song just doesn't fit the shape of the album. Not to say it's a bad song, it just doesn't fit in the album. There's a couple of songs that didn't make the album, actually. One song was another lovely song by Carol, but it just didn't fit the way the album was sounding. And sometimes you don't know the sound of an album until you're actually recording it and going, oh, right, that's not going to work, that one. So yeah, 2 more questions, and then I've answered all the questions in the whole world that I've got. Oh, what a great feeling. Mike, will we ever see a vinyl release of... Fuck off, Mike. I don't know if you're going to see vinyl release. Valor del Corazon, Breaking the Weather, Yoni and Margaret Harbour. Yes, I'd like to get vinyl releases of those, but am I going to be involved in them? No. Maybe. In a few years' time, I'll have some time off and I'll want that triple album of those 3 solo albums. But I don't know. Just with the way my head is now, with the fucking nightmare getting these albums to people is, I don't want to touch albums. I will never, ever, I can safely say, do a pre-order ever again. Not for an album of mine. Never. And Ricky Cox, finally, Ricky Cox says, Ginger, I always wondered, as I don't remember him mentioning you when he done press, but was Lemmy a fan of the Wildhearts or yours? Apparently, he was. We shared a girlfriend. An old girlfriend of mine became one of Lemmy's girlfriend, and she used to play him the Wildhearts all the time. And he specifically asked for us to go on tour with them, and he came down to see us live and stuff like that. So I think, Lemmy Lemmy was into like rock and roll and blues, and, I think the most contemporary pop he got was Beatles, so I'm not sure he would have listened to the Wildhearts, much like a lot of bands that probably played with him. I don't think he was sat at home. I think he probably sat at home and listened to Little Richard and stuff like that. But he liked the Wildhearts. He liked us enough to ask us on tour, and he called us the most fucked up pop band you ever heard. So yeah, I think, Lemmy probably did like the Wildhearts, but not as much as I like Motorhead and Lemmy. Thank you, we did it. Fucking hell, this is a good feeling. Good day today. So remember, you're in charge of your brain, not the other way around. Your brain works for you. And don't wear fucking prescription glasses if a pair of reading glasses will do it for you, because they're way cheaper, and prescription glasses are horrible. And avoid doctors if you can, because it's a fucking con. But look after yourself. Keep yourself as fit as you can. Exercise as much as you can. Don't eat shit all the time. And sort your drinking. If you're drinking too much, sort it out. Little tips on how to get happy, and they all fucking work. And I'm living proof, because I was a miserable cunt and I've sorted my life out a little bit, had a word with myself, and I feel fucking great. This has been great. This has been good. Power through. Come on. Have a fantastic weekend. Fucking love you all. Thank you for staying here. Brilliant. Thank you. Bye.